What's going on, boys and girls? My name is Michael SK and welcome back to the Fruity Grisaia. So last time, Amane left for whatever her reasoning was, and Yuji and Makina are apparently going to go see Yuji's master's grave, from what I understand. They were going to go take Amane's motorcycle, but it's having so many issues that I started getting so confused in the last session. So I guess we'll get through that. And I guess we'll go see Yuji's master's grave. It's my prediction. We'll see what happens. I've also been told by a fan of this playthrough that we're coming up on some serious story. We're coming up on it. I don't know when, but it's coming. So, back to Seat of the World Tree 8. Reattaching the freshly massaged piece of electronics to its coupler, I pressed down firmly on the kick pedal once more. I told you so, asshole. It really was the CDI. Hand over that 10. I like how we're talking to nobody. As I vent my spleen on some vaguely defined imaginary foe, Amane's motorcycle, Bobatoro, whatever, springs easily back to life and proceeds to rumble pleasantly away underneath me. I have to say, though, this thing is pretty noisy. I'll take this sort of growling over high-pitched shrieking any day, but if I got this thing going and drove past some elementary school, it'd definitely be loud enough to get the kids grimacing and covering their ears with their hands. Oh well, guess I'll have to stuff some steel wool or something in the exhaust pipe and quiet it down. I just watch over the thing as it idles for a while, but the engine doesn't seem inclined to sputter off again. Maybe the CDI itself wasn't the issue. The contact with the coupler, or whatever that word is, might just have been off. I don't know anything about vehicles, alright? I think I said in the last session, I don't know anything about motorcycles. I'll just say I'm not that much of a vehicle guy in general. Temporarily stopping the engine, I check the oil and lights, then move on to testing the front and rear brakes. All good. But when I finally get around to looking at the air pressure on the tires, Christ, are you serious? It's got a damn flat. Am I gonna have to change a tire in this absurd heat? Cut me a damn break already. Sighing heavily, I lean my head back and gaze up into the sky. Within seconds, I can feel the tip of my nose scorching under the blazing sunlight. I'm sorely tempted to just say screw it, but after all this effort, giving up and going by train would be seriously galling? Sure, whatever, in its own right. This right here might take some time. Muttering an excuse to no one in particular, I decide to temporarily return to my room and rehydrate myself. For a moment, I'm seriously tempted to take the wheel off entirely and lug it back to my bathroom to patch it up. But fortunately, it doesn't prove to be anything quite that serious. When I start pumping air back into the tire, it inflates up normally, and the pancake on the bottom disappears completely in a matter of minutes. Why is it that tube tires always manage to lose air just sitting in a parking lot? While this minor mystery nags at me somewhat, by the time 11 rolls around, we've successfully readied everything we need for our trip. Alright, well, I guess that's also what Yuji says, alright. Now, as I was saying, I guess we're going to jump right into actually going on this trip. That we're going to have to deal with more of an issue. I guess I actually stopped the session at a good time last time. That never happens. Wow. Alright. Are all preparations for departure complete? Okay. Excellent. The time is currently 1100 hours. We're beginning the operation. All personnel embark. Straddling Bobataro, there we go, like a bold general swinging onto his horse, god damn it, I deposit Makina in the tandem seat and make her firmly grab hold of my shoulders. Then kick the bike into first gear with the tip of my left foot and slowly squeeze the clutch lever to the handle. Damn, dude, we're going on a ride. And nice vest. Looks like it's gonna be another hot one. You did put on sunscreen, right? I don't know why we've got a muffled version of her voice here. As we begin to leisurely putter along the coastal road in the direction of Yamanashi Prefecture, Machina and I talk through the two-way FM radio. Why? We used for our sniper games. Now hooked onto the throat mics. Oh, okay. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense here. Throat mics for hands-free operation. You think? I mean, what kind of an idiot would start roaring around on a bike like this? If a tire loses a little air, your levers will be dragging along the ground. A low center of gravity is nice, but this is ridiculous. I've never driven a motorcycle this bizarrely low to the ground before, but just leisurely gliding along in the wake of the car ahead doesn't feel half bad. Sorry, I was like, wait, what? That said, I can't help thinking its overall lack of power and weak maneuverability is going to be an issue once we get on those steep mountain roads. Well, let's just take it slow and easy. No, gas is still a problem. You're old enough to have a license yourself, Machina. Why don't you take the test? It is dangerous, especially for you. Well, guess I can sort of understand how she feels. It's easy to picture Machina hopping on a moped or something, shouting, "Okay then, I'm going off to play," and tottering off into the distance. At which point you'd be sitting by the phone biting your nails, waiting for a call from some hospital or the police. But when you snatch away something from a child and tell them it's dangerous, they'll go to any lengths to play with it behind your back. Personally, I feel like it's better to just let them learn under your strict supervision. But maybe that's a testosterone-infused way of looking at it. You know, someday I'd like to drive or ride a motorcycle. That'd be pretty cool. It's just, I'm really off balance. Let's see. The way you balance, turn, and stop are all pretty similar to a bicycle, so I don't think it'd be impossible for you to learn. But unlike Amine, you're short and have stubby legs. Might be a little tricky for you to get the hang of it right now. For starters, let's stick to practicing on your bicycle. Maybe next time we can try some, I don't know what the hell that is, in the parking lot at school. It's an ideal game for learning the most fundamental part of operating a two-wheeled vehicle, shifting your body weight while controlling the contact patch and load on your tires. You compete for the best time on an obstacle course. First I'm hearing of it. You'll fall off constantly until you get used to it, you know. I know I did. When I was 14 or so, I think. Drove around on the private land up in the mountains where I was living with my master. Right. She started me off by making me climb onto this full-size dirt bike she used to ride, and my legs weren't even close to reaching the ground. So I'd have to reach up and squeeze the clutch with one foot on the gear shift, then swing up onto the seat only after the thing started moving. Getting it started wasn't a picnic, but stopping was just as much as a pain. I had a choice between decelerating as much as possible before jumping down onto the brake, or stopping myself manually with a foot against some stone or tree. Looking back on it now, it's pretty impressive that I managed to ride the thing at all. More than likely. I've been riding bicycles for a long time, so I don't remember being particularly scared. After all, I wasn't trying to pull any death-defying stunts. Compared to the terror I'd experienced previously, it probably didn't even register. Come to think of it, I didn't feel particularly afraid the first time I took my master's place in the field either. Even after finishing the job, returning home, and completing my report, when she asked, "Were you scared?" I honestly answered no. Hell, it almost felt like I had fun. But when night came, and there was nothing else to do but take a bath and go to sleep, I found myself holding my dick over the... Okay, wait, what? Where is this coming from? I found myself holding my dick over the toilet bowl, completely unable to piss. A small twinge of doubt ran through me. and I had finally noticed that my hands were shaking. As the tension finally drained out of me like a string removed from a bow, my bad, I was seized by terror so intense that I thought I might never stop shaking. I'd casually, almost thoughtlessly, slipped by a situation where one wrong step could have meant death. Mixed in with the fear was a wave of thankfulness for my sheer dumb luck. I was fortunate today, but the dice might very well fall differently next time. With that thought, the shaking grew stronger. Even now, I can vividly remember the terror I felt that night. But after experiencing that fear again and again, I guess you could say that I obtained the ability to control those feelings. Or maybe I just gained a nose for danger and the instinct to avoid it. When you get right down to it, I think it might just be a matter of experience and caution. Put in enough hours to develop the foresight to see trouble coming ahead of time, and you'll be completely fine. You're at greatest risk when you start thinking, I'm on top of my game today, bring it on. Because don't get too carried away or you'll end up taking a fall. That pretty much sums up riding a motorcycle. I already explained this with the bicycle last time, but any vehicle is safe enough as long as you stay aware of your surroundings and give yourself a generous margin of error.
なるほど。つまり通常5割、急いで7割ってやつな。怖いと感じた時はすでに8割を超えている。怖いと感じる一歩手前を意識するのがベストな。
Yeah, you've got the idea. Incidentally, right now, I'm going at about half my baseline pace.
今何キロ出てるの？
Don't know how much I can trust a mini-meter wedged onto a different company's bike, but roughly 50 kilometers per
な
hour.
るほど。もうちょい速くてもいいかなってスピードの一歩手前なのよさ。
Given this speed and following distance, even if the guy in front of us spills hot coffee on his pants and smashes into the guardrail, we wouldn't have any problem dealing with the situation.
安全が一番速いってそういうことな。やっぱ私も免許取ろうかな。
Maybe after you fix your English or pronunciations. What's it like driving a motorcycle anyway? Posed this question by Machina, I briefly paused to consider. Do you remember the first day you rode a bicycle? For Machina, it was practically just the other day, so I'm sure she remembers it vividly. The feelings it inspired might not have even faded completely. On the other day you learned to ride a bike, the day you pedaled alone down an unfamiliar road for the first time. Didn't it feel like the world had suddenly grown larger around you? This world's an endless road that can take you anywhere at all. And that bicycle could carry you much, much further than your weak little legs. That first day, did you ask yourself, just how far can I go? The first day I rode a motorcycle, that open question was replaced with something that felt like an answer. I can go wherever the hell I want. Oh, cool. We're on a nice straight road. That's what a motorcycle is. You understand what I'm saying?
わかんねえ。もうちっと簡単に説明して。
Oh my god, that was pretty abbreviated. I don't know. You can go where you want, stop where you want, even just ride along with no destination at all if you want. That's what a motorcycle is.
それは簡略しすぎてかえってわかりにくいのよさ。
Damn, dude, you just can't figure things out. I consult my watch to discover it's already 1 in the afternoon. As if on cue, Machina begins complaining about her grumbling stomach. So I pull over at random in a suitable spot and lay out our plastic picnic sheet for a late lunch. The lunch boxes Machina prepared were, as she declared earlier, packed primarily with freshly baked cinnamon rolls and pumpkin bread. According to Machina, making these required comparatively little effort on her part, as the bread machine took care of the primary fermentation. But that said, the taste is nothing to scoff at. The girl claims that anyone with a bread maker and a functional brain could achieve such results. I'm slightly moved to learn that we're living in an era where even amateurs can produce bread of this caliber. But at the same time, I feel as if I've caught a glimpse of dark clouds gathering on the horizon for the bakery industry.
ね、パパ、あそこにいっぱい生えてる背の低い木はブドウの木？
I was about to say, wow, do grapes grow in Japan? But that's just stupidity talking. Okay, first of all, grapes grow on vines. Secondly, those are mulberry trees.
クワっつうのはブドウの仲間？
Not that I know of. Why are you so caught up on the grapes, anyway?
だって山梨だよ。
Okay, try not to talk as though Yamanashi's got nothing but grapes to offer in the world. The good people of Kosh will give you a swift boot to the rear.
なんでだよ。じゃあブドウ以外何があんのよさ。
Peaches?
パパこそ甲州人にぶっ飛ばされんぞ。
Wait, no! There's also Hodo soup and those rice cakes with black honey and, don't mess with the valley, okay?
別に舐めちゃいないし、ぶどうも桃も大好きなのよ。岡山とキャラかぶってんけどな。
I like grapes. I don't like peaches, though. You really have to say that last part? Such a cheeky little brat. Who'd you get that, I don't know, what chutzpah from anyway?
多分パパに似たんだと思うんだぜ。
Alright. Well, anyway, that's a mulberry tree. Food for your Bombyx Mori?
また知らん言葉が出てきた。誰だよおかいこさん。
What? You don't know about silkworm moths? You farm the larvae and make silk from their cocoons. The industry's been around forever, you know.
絹って蚊の幼虫が作ってんの？
Yeah, it's a natural fiber. You didn't know that either?
クジラのヒゲからバイオリンの弓みたいな感じ？
I know a whale had whiskers. Wrong on many levels, but the strange thing is, I can actually understand what you're trying to say somehow.
ちょっと見てきていい？
Just looking is fine by me, but don't start plucking off fruit, you got that? Also, put on your hat.
わかってる。
Just like that, Machina darts off into the blazing sun, flapping her outstretched arms like a bird as she rushes over toward the mulberry field. Thanks to her diminutive frame, she looks like a young child heading off to play. The girl shows interest in anything and everything she encounters. When she runs into something she doesn't understand, she immediately asks why. In return, I offer what answers I can from my own experience and knowledge. When that fails me, we think it over together. Sometimes hearing Machina's perspective leads me to new insights of my own. I guess this might be what people mean when they say teaching someone means learning from them in return. Come to think of it, it was my own instructor who told me that. The person who taught me everything, and made me want to learn in the first place. Not a parent or a teacher. Okay, this is gonna suck. Kusakabe Asako. My master. The woman who single-handedly built me up from nothing. For better or worse, I'm at least 80% the person she made me. She found a whelp crawling along the bottom of the valley of despair, reached down her hand, and pulled it up to the world of human beings. For Asako, picking me up might have been an afterthought, an impulsive spur-of-the-moment decision, not much more than a whim. Even so, if I hadn't met her, I wouldn't be what I am today. I probably would have given up on life outright a long time ago. But Asako was there, on that day, in that moment. She took me by the hand. Thanks to her, and the people around her, primarily a certain aggravating shaggy-headed blonde, I'm standing here today. I'm still living, carrying the final words she left me in my heart. What was the point of keeping a piece of trash like me alive? I want an answer to that question. That, more than anything else, is what keeps me going.
Papa!
It's kind of loud. Yeah? What's up?
桑畑見てきた。なんかすっげーいっぱいカミキリムシがいた。
No kid. Hey, wait a second. What are you eating?
スイカだよ。ほら、あそこに農夫のおばあちゃんがいるじゃんね。あの人にもらったずら。
Okay. You put a finger in your mouth and stared at the melon with the big wistful eyes, didn't you? Please tell me you at least said thank you.
当たり前じゃんけ。ちゃんとお礼言ったずらよ。
I did not understand any of that. Where? She's already picked up some weird snatches of Koshu dialect just from talking with a local for a few minutes? The girl sure adapts quickly. No, maybe her brain's just pliable as a piece of putty. I stand beside Machina and bow deeply to the kind farmer. Alright then, seems like we're more than hydrated enough. I think it's time we get back on the road.
おう、ワニワニしとらんで、ちゃっちゃと行けし。
You know, your dialect's a little off there. Seems like the field artillery is practicing today. When I almost said eyes. God damn it. When my ears begin to pick up the air-shaking thunder of the guns in the distance, it feels like we finally entered the Yamanashi I know. Among the vehicles we pass on the road, squat medium trucks and high-mobility vehicles painted khaki grow increasingly common. At one point, I make eye contact with a commander sticking his head out of the cupola as a passing Type 96, and have to restrain the impulse to salute.